Welcome back. Here we are. We're back again, Jonathan. Can you believe it? We are in our second topic, our second session of our second topic, and this one is about vision and mission.
And this is really fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, we are.
I hope you are too.
Right, exactly. So, here we go. And we're going to be talking about ministry alignment here, and specifically about defining and applying vision and mission. But Jonathan, give us a recap or a review of session 1 under ministry alignment.
Yeah, well, we just talked about how our vision and mission is impacted by our own personal issues or the relationship we have with God, and it really begins with us. So even though we're talking about in a broader context about how it's going to apply to our ministry and to the church, well, as we know, we are the church, and so it starts with us. And as it starts with us, then we were asking ourselves these questions. As we look inside ourselves first, what do I see? Where is my heart, and how is my faith? And then look outside in your church and look for the skills and the talents that God has entrusted to the people there. And then lastly, look outside in your community and become proactive in observing and looking around at the things that people are interested in. What are they doing? What are their needs? And what's interesting too, as we consider vision and mission, is that this is really foundational to moving forward. And so we hope that you're really taking these things on and applying them. And I was just thinking about remembering a quote that I heard. This quote is from Helen Keller, who was both deaf and blind. And she was asked one time, what would be worse than being born blind? And she said, to have sight without vision. And I thought, wow, that pretty much summarizes it. Because here is a woman who could not see and who could not hear. And yet she had a vision. And God used her to do great things. Helen Keller, again, just an amazing woman. And then also I was thinking of, there's Proverbs 29:18, which says, people without vision perish. Or another version says, people without vision cast off restraint. So that means there's no purpose or goal unless you have a vision. And so when you're not restrained, that means you're going to do everything. So you do a little here and a little there and a little here and a little there, and you never accomplish anything. And so that's why these sessions, it's only 2 sessions for this second topic, but these 2 sessions are critical to what we're building here and what you're doing in your ministry, in your life, and as you continue to follow God. So Greg, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you're going to take this on to another level for us. And so
we talked about the 3 levels, theological truths, and people often get confused between vision and mission. They always think it's the same.
Right.
And what I think we're going to help people understand here is that they're very different, and that when you begin to understand the difference between vision and mission, and then strategies and outputs, it's going to help you crystallize on how you can conceptualize your ministries.
Mm-hmm.
A vision is what we see.
Right.
So what do we see at the end of our endeavors? That's what our vision needs to be. It's our call, it's our purpose. If we're going to think about building, I'm going to use 2 metaphors kind of interchangeably, building and sailing. If the vision in a building sense would be the result of our building. How do we know when we've built the building we're supposed to? And a building is a noun. It's an accomplishment. It's not an action. And oftentimes we confuse the activity of mission with the accomplishment of vision. And so what is it that we're aspiring to? It's the why we do what we do. And so essentially the vision is the purpose of our ministry, our organization. And it should appeal to our heart. It should grab us and say, let's go, let's get up and go. It would establish appropriate levels of action and commitment. It's the shore we're sailing to. Now, every good sailing vision needs to have guiding principles. This is the why we do what we do. Why are we building this building? Why are we sailing to that shore? What keeps us heading to the shore? It's the motivation for our actions and accomplishments, our passions. So when it comes to ministry, a vision should have something to do with winning the world for Christ. That should be the basic vision. And it is an accomplishment at the end. Okay, so how do we differentiate between a level 2 philosophical mission? The mission is the when do we do it? Where do we do it? To whom are we trying to incorporate this vision for? So it's the when, where, for whom do we build the building? Let's build a house. Why? It's for a family. So that tells us where we build it. It tells us when we should build it. Not when they're too old or not when they're babies, but when it's a family. Or a dorm for college students, a cathedral for a church, industry buildings. Philosophically, why are we doing what we're doing? That leads us to what we do. Now, mission is a verb. It is thinking about what we are to do.
The action.
It's the action of thinking
Okay.
and planning.
Mm-hmm.
So the mission is helping us to think and plan to do what we do. It's a broad and yet succinct statement. I understand. Okay, how's that? It's broader than just a specific activity, but it's succinct in that it helps focus us on what we're supposed to be doing each and every day. Where are the sailors sailing to? When do they sail? Remember, Paul had to sail at certain times or we went into shipwreck. There's better times. So you see how this is becoming philosophical.
How is the wind blowing?
Exactly.
How are the waves?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
And then that leads us to the strategies of underneath this mission. What are the key components necessary to do? What are the programmatic philosophies of the organization as distinguished from the specific outputs or the specific activities? This is like a step removed. So what are the broad programmatic activities needed to build a house? You need plans, you need builders, you need materials. If you're sailing, are we going to sail by oar or by engine? Are we putting up a big sail? So these help us to think about strategically where are we going and how are we getting there. Now, methodological, these are the outputs. This is what we do.
Okay.
These are the activity boxes. We know we're building a cathedral. That's our philosophy because we want people to worship. Our why, our theological foundation is worship. Our philosophical philosophies of let's do it in this kind of a structure. And now, okay, let's go build the building. So what are the specific activities needed to actually build the house? And it's the outworking of the missions and the strategies. It's the day-to-day carrying that out. It's the foundation, if you will, the rough frame, the roof, the drywall, the plumbing. Every one of those are an activity to make this house come together. So using a sailing metaphor, what's necessary to keep the sails and the oars and the engines working so we can actually get to our shore. So here's how we apply this. First of all, differentiate between where you're going or why you're going from where you're going. And where you're going to what you have to do to get there. I'm going to share CSRM.
Mm-hmm. Which stands for?
Church, Sports, and Recreation Ministers.
And you should know that already, but just in case you don't.
Thank you. And go back all the way to our introductory, and you can find this all earlier about who we are and why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, CSRM's vision is a changed life. A changed life is someone who comes to faith in Christ, and as a result of that, their whole life is transformed. They become a new creature, it says in the scripture. Now, the changed life is our vision. How do we get that? How do we make that happen? The mission of CSRM is to equip local churches. So we don't, at CSRM, the CSRM staff and board don't actually change lives specifically. We don't run leagues, we don't run these outreaches, but we equip those who do. So our mission is to equip the local church. We are a para-ministry, but we are laser focused on equipping the local church to accomplish their vision through sports outreach. So, our mission, equipping to accomplish our vision, a changed life. And then what we see here is we see in the midst of this the strategies. How do we accomplish our mission? 4 strategies. Equipping. We have this equipping is done in 4 C's. Conferencing, consulting, certification, and connecting. And in all of those, we do the training, we do the connecting, we do all these things in all 4 of those strategies. And so the outputs of those strategies are, this is one output. This training video series is one output that leads to certification, that leads to consulting, that helps empower these other 4 C's. It's an output.
Right, so if you never had this vision, then this would never be the mission.
It would never be the output of the strategy of the mission.
Right.
Now, we put it all together in one statement to try to help conceptualize for all of us. CSRM exists to change lives through equipping the local church. All right, so here we go. CSRM exists to equip the local church to change lives through sports outreach. So we utilize sports outreach as the tool. Everything that we do, we evaluate through that vision, through that mission, through those strategies. We evaluate every single thing that we do through that. So, what you need to do as homework now is that you need to go back and figure out if you actually have a vision for your sports ministry and maybe for your personal life. And if you don't, you're going to need to take some time. Maybe between now and you watching the next video.
That's right.
And sit down and really come up with your vision statement, and then what do you need to do to accomplish that? And strategically, where do you need to go to make that happen? And everyday outputs that you need to do to make the strategies important and vital and workable. Here are 4 words that I'm going to leave with you that I think will help you as you think this through. Effective, efficient, and also relevant and strategic. If you want your sports ministry to be effective and efficient, and you want it to be relevant and strategic, you're going to start with a vision. You're going to understand what you need to do to accomplish that. You're going to think philosophically what are great strategies to make that mission happen, and then you're going to get to work in the activities on a daily basis.
That's great stuff, Greg.
So there you have it.
And if I can just give an example from my own experience, even just last week I was consulting with a guy who's in sports ministry, and he was making all these plans, and he was going to do all these things. And I said, hey, where is your vision statement? Go back to that first. And as he got that out, he realized, oh man, some of these things I'm doing, they're not going to fulfill my vision. So I don't need to do them.
That's exactly right.
And that's how it works. So it sounds a little complicated, but it's really not. It's very practical. And so we hope that these 2 sessions have made this a little more palatable, that you can swallow it and apply it and really use it, because it's great information. Yeah. Thanks for that, Greg.
So as you begin to put this into practice, after you've gone through your vision, your mission, your strategies, and your outputs, your daily outputs, what do? Your activities on a daily basis, you're going to need to then evaluate and say, what's my outcome? And if your outcome, like you just gave an illustration to, if your outcome isn't close to being your vision, then something's goofed up in that hierarchy of moving it through from vision to outcome.
Right.
All right.
Well, if we can help you in this, please contact us, because I think we'd love to help you form your mission and vision and discuss your outcomes. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about. Great.
And so, take us now, Jonathan. We're going to be moving from here, and we're going to be moving into another topic.
Yeah, we're going to look more in depth at what a missional sports community is and how to build them. And that's something we talked about briefly in the foundation, so now we want to make it come alive. And so we hope you'll join us for that. It's going to be, again, more good stuff that you can really apply and use.
All right. We'll see you then.
Great. Thanks.